So here is our old friend Google, and you're probably familiar with it. All you do is throw some keywords in and get some results. In this case, I did a search on "Is Google evil?" and I came up with a whole bunch of results. Some of them reference Google's motto, which used to appear, "Don't be evil." That has since been removed from their advertising. Let's take a look at this third one, which is an article from futurism.com. And we have this: 3 signs Google is turning to the dark side, and so on. And we've got information here. We've got all kinds of data, or what we think is data, and so on it goes all the way through. There's some videos and so on. The question is, how in the world can we evaluate this information for its reliability? We know that it's expressing a point of view, so that it's not strictly factual, but how in the world do we figure out just what is going on here? There is an author, Kristen Hauser. We could check that out, see what Kristen Hauser is about, writer, and there's a number of articles that Kristen Hauser has produced, all of them in the scientific field, which sounds promising. But it's always a challenge with Google. Just what are we looking at? How reliable is this information? How can we be sure about anything? Let me try another search. I'm going to search on climate change. And I've got news stories here. I've got something from NASA that looks probably pretty promising, because NASA is a scientific organization. I've got CNN. Question is, do you trust CNN or do you trust some other news source? We've got stuff from the BBC. How in the world can we be sure any of this is actually reliable and believable? Well, obviously, Google goes through a process when it does a search of vetting its results. It has reliability built into it, right? Well, the fact is, the reliability is not built into Google. There is no master editor at Google that determines whether some things pass and other things don't. What Google does instead is to find the sites that are most often referred to by other websites. So if a website points to NASA, then that website actually adds to the popularity of NASA. And so the most popular websites tend to win. The question is popularity the most important thing? We all know that there are conspiracy theories out there that can be extremely popular. And the big challenge is you can never really be sure until you actually check out a website, find out who's responsible for it, and then seek to determine whether you have enough evidence to be able to believe that what you're dealing with is actually reliable. Now, I had climate change news initially in my search because that's what Google suggested to me. So I'm going to look now just at strictly climate change. We've got things like the David Suzuki Foundation, which is pretty reliable. We've got the United Nations, National Geographic, and so on and so forth. We've got Nature, which is an organization that publishes scientific information. I'm going to go to the 8th page of results and see what we find now. We've got government sites. We've got Britannica. We've got, what is omers.com? Not sure. We've got cities. We've got EcoJustice. Now, let's take a look at EcoJustice. And with EcoJustice, we find that it's an advocacy organization. We take on dirty energy projects that threaten ecosystems, put people at risk, increase Canada's greenhouse gases, and so on. All very laudable kinds of things, but does it slant the way they approach things? It's very difficult to know with Google just what you're dealing with. And that's the main challenge. Who has done this? Who has checked it out? Is anybody checking for reliability? We know that anybody can post stuff on the net. That's not difficult to do. It doesn't have to be checked out. It doesn't have to be reliable in that sense. It just has to be able to be posted. And if nobody's checking this stuff out, and nobody really is, then we have to trust good old Dr. Google to choose the best results. And Google doesn't always do that well.